I don't know the, the jargons that we use to give the vivid description of what took place last night at the Tamba Taikor Intellectual Forum. But again, this is Liberia. This year is 2023. You know, Liberia is expected, or Liberians are expected to go to the polls to have another election. Whoever wins, Liberia wins.
Yeah.
So we will directly go down and get our astute counselor. He's a counselor at law. So, Councillor Tiawan Gongloe, it's a pleasure to have you in Foya Statutory District, especially at Radio Tamba Taikor. Welcome.
Thank you very much. And let me say that I'm in studio with my senior advisor and the senior advisor to my party, the Liberian People's Party, Honorable Joseph Ulukoli.
Okay.
Good morning. Thank you.
Okay, you've been in the county, and fortunately for you, you are in Foya. So your experience and throughout the tour from Vonjama, maybe enter Zozo, Salaye, in all of these bigger areas, and finally you have landed in Foya district.
You know, I've been pleasantly surprised.
Okay.
Coming to Lofa, given the way Lofa voted in 2017, I just strongly felt that this was a no-go area for any other politician. But from the beginning, first town in Lofa, the Pella area to the Loma area, and now we passed through the Bani area and we are in the Kisi area. I have just experienced warm reception everywhere. I want to thank the Lofa people for being so kind. I didn't even know that I was their in-law because I'm married to a lady who, Soni Kolako, whose father is from Zina Lomai and the mother from Yanamanahum. But even without knowing that information, they were very warm to me, and I feel like I'm winning Lofa. You know, the optimism I'm getting is too high. So I want to thank the people of Lofa for their hospitality.
Okay. So this is Lofa, and like we said last night, Maserado is not Liberia. And a couple of things that you spoke last night on were like some kind of new class that was open. Now, if it was a class that someone's supposed to pay for a course, I don't know how much would that be for a student to listen to you, because it was a great privilege. But just to maybe like let other people know. So basically, let's go to this acquaintance visit to Lofa County. Maybe other people will say, but why now? If this is your first time.
You know, this is not my first time to Lofa. And it should be known that I was Solicitor General before, so all of the county attorneys were working under me. I had a workshop here before of the county attorneys, and during the workshop in Vonjama, I took time to come to Cllr and Foya. More than that, we came here for Bar Association convention before. So that's not my first time in Lofa.
Okay.
But this is my first time in Lofa as a politician. I've been an advocate all my life, and I'm transforming into being a politician. And I came.
Sorry, that mic is also like the camera. You touching it?
Okay, the technical problem.
All right. Good.
So this is my first time coming to Lofa as a politician. But I've been to Lofa before.
Okay.
I came to Lofa for people in Lofa to know me, and for me to know the problems in Lofa County. That's why I'm visiting various locations. I'm going to almost all of the clans in Lofa, so that I can see the problems that the people in Lofa are facing. For example, one visible problem is the road condition. All right? Because you cannot solve a problem that you don't know. Nobody can sit in Monrovia and know the problems all over Liberia. And as you were saying, Liberia is not Monrovia. You know, and Liberia is not just even Foya, Koba City, Zozo, or Vonjama. That's why I've gone to Zolowood. That's why I've been to Yela. That's why I slept in Bangui. I'm going all over Lofa County to see, to sort of appreciate the conditions under which Lofa people are living, so that when I'm president, when Lofa people are requesting for certain development activities, I will understand as president. I'm going everywhere. For example, I'm here. I've asked everyone, the motorcyclists, I want to reach to Vahum, but I was just told this morning that there are 52 hills going to Vahum, and the hills are very challenging. And if I were to take the three vehicles in my convoy to Vahum, I may come back on motorcycle. And so, you know, you can't force anything. If you can't fit, don't force it. I understand that most people who go to Vahum pass through Sierra Leone to do so. I want to see the people of Vahum. If that's the route that people take, I will go through that. But yes, I'm here and I'm very happy that my message is resonating. When I talk about free education for all Liberian children from kindergarten to 12th grade, free trade schools for all Liberian young people, high school dropout, high school graduates, young men and young women to learn trade, tailoring, masonry, carpentry, you know, all of the other trades, masonry. The people are excited because, you know, you can't ride a motorcycle until you are 40 years old, your bike will be aching. You can't even go from market to the market day as a woman. The older you get, the harder it becomes. But yeah, you have a family to take care of. So people are happy with that. When I talk about eliminating illiteracy in 2 years, people are happy about that. When I talk about restoring the poly yards in all of the counties so that roads are clearly meeting and they are not caught up as they are happening now, to the extent that 6 months of the year it's difficult to leave from Fonjima to Zozo and then to Banga, people are happy. When I talk about mechanizing rice production so that government can provide machines for all the farmers in the country to the farmers cooperatives in the 15 countries to make big farms so that rice can be here, people are happy about that. When I talk about pregnant women going to hospital free of charge under my administration, children under the age of 5 going to hospital free of charge, old people 65 years or going to hospital free of charge, people are happy about that. People are extremely happy when I see we eliminate corruption. That's why I have the broom as a symbol that will operate a clean government so that we stop corruption by jailing people who are corrupt, by trying them, putting them, you know, making them to account to return all the money who are corrupt and stopping corrupt people from entering government. People are happy about it. When I say to the people that it is the sweetness in government, which is corruption, that attracts people to government, and therefore people want to get ministerial job, managing director job, and to be representing as senators at all costs. And because of that, secret killings can be going on because the witch doctors are asking for human part. And therefore, when we stop corruption, people's lives will be protected in this country. This is a message that people are happy about. Everywhere I've gone, nobody has disagreed. And I've been told I am the only presidential candidate that has ever come out with this message to the Liberian people.
So let's note a bit about Councillor Tiawan Gongloe at the level of the Liberian politics.
So I've been an advocate. Just we call it a manner was the late Germina Flomo. We've been criticizing government from the 70s and offering alternative way to govern. Some of us have been to jail. He myself is a bit older than me. In 1978, we found ourselves going to jail because we opposed President Jimmy Carter's visit to Liberia. Not that we didn't want the president to come, but our president declared a day holiday in Liberia, and no other country in Africa had done so. The man has spent 3 days in Nigeria, no holiday was declared, and he was coming to Liberia for 1 hour, and our president declared a day holiday. So we were actually opposed to our government, not to President Carter. And we wrote, university students opposed President Carter's visit, and we were jailed for that. That was standing up against the government for bad policy. And through our life, we've been going to jail and recommending, criticizing and recommending the government and not being listening. That is why we now want to take power and show to the rest of the politicians in Liberia and the Liberian people how to govern properly in the interest of the Liberian people. That is, right now, I usually say Liberia is in the ICU, the intensive care unit, the emergency room, and the plugs are on Liberia now, And so, as a Liberian and and being a member of a political party that thinks about the masses of people, that has a very good plan to uplift the Liberian nation and change Liberia's story, we cannot stand by and let Liberia collapse. And that is why we are coming in to prevent Liberia from falling. This is actually a rescue mission. And we have better programs, some of the programs I mean. So I'm coming in through my party, the Liberian People's Party, as a project manager to redirect the course of Liberia, to change Liberia's history. That's why I'm coming. I enjoy practicing law. I've been a lawyer for 34 years. This is my 35th year. And then, I went to government. I taught people how to govern because I went into government and was not corrupt. There's no mosquito in the government that bites you to make you corrupt. People are already corrupt and they get into government. Somebody say, when we were in school, me and Dustin, all that criticism you're carrying on, by the time you get government job, you will do the same thing. And I tell you, I used to pray every morning, God, help me to resist the temptation of crossing the line that I shouted at other people for. And God heard my prayer. I worked with Dr. Sawyer for 4 years as executive assistant. And by the way, I like to always say, when you are an assistant to somebody, then you're learning the person's job. Just like when you're a mechanic boy, you're learning a mechanic job. So I can say boastfully that I am the only candidate in this presidential race that have learned to become president. And I learned to become president from a political scientist, a professor of political science, who was the only one called professor at OAU conference and the ECOWAS conference, very well respected leader of Liberia. And he taught me well. And then I've been Solicitor General. I've been minister. Everybody knows that I'm minister. I will not dismiss. I resigned because of differences over President Salih's policy, largely based on her lack of willingness to fight corruption. So I resigned. That's why I'm in the government, to show people that you can run a corruption-free government. You can do a lot of things for Liberia. I do not believe that corruption is a vampire. I believe that people can make corruption a vampire. And only a corruption-free president can fight corruption. That's why I'm there to set a new standard for our grandchildren, because me and Dustin children, we are all going through the same thing. And so our grandchildren can have a new day in Liberia.
You live in a country where the majority of the people vote for individuals based on their sizes. Be huge or you this. And they don't follow the records of people. Like someone like you, I don't want to flatter you, but being one of those integrity icons at the level of Liberia. So, what do you think is the message to change the narratives around?
The responsibility is yours, the media people. Your role is to educate, entertain, and inform.
Mm-hmm.
You know all this collaboration thing that everybody's saying? It was brought by one talk show host called Costa, Henry Costa. He said 3 years ago, if Liberian political parties do not collaborate, George Weah will go second term. And he kept saying that he has stuck in the minds of everyone. You go to even a village, because your collaboration, some don't even understand the word collaboration, but they use it because Costa used it. if you start emphasizing the issue of integrity, the issue of message, that we should ask people what they intend to do with power and cross-examine them, and then make a decision based on what people say and a track record, Liberians will follow it. So it's a challenge for you, because it is your duty to say to the Liberian people where they should go, what they should do. In Liberia, when you write something, they say when you want to hide something from Liberia, most Africans put in a book, right? So they don't read newspapers. What they hear on the radio, they take to be true. So, especially you radio journalists, you should now be educating Liberian people how to vote. And when you do so, like, the result will be very good. So the challenge, and I strongly believe that Liberians can change if they are helped by radio journalists. And people go on Facebook, but in Liberia, radio is still the authoritative source of information and education,
especially electronic,
and especially, and you, because you go now, you start speaking about me in a vernacular about what you know in Kisi and all of that, in Bandi, all of the language program. They say the radio say that that men are good men. They will go by it, to the extent that, you know, you tell people, if you don't have to talk to me, just say vote for people on the basis of the message that they are bringing that will transform your life, right? Don't vote for people who are burger rice, for money that will give for Jolly Jolly, the scholarship that will give during election time. I call them election time humanitarians. So don't you tell your people not to vote for election time humanitarians. Or the other name I have for them is political investor. Because when you invest, you get a profit. When they invest, they spend all that money and they come to power as representative, senator, or they are president, or the people who support presidential candidate, when they become minister, they start getting their profit by stealing. Government is a place to serve, not to steal. Even this statement that I make, that is all on my stickers, if you start explaining it to the majority, to our people, they will say, oh, but then the post team government, people also in 2-3 months, not good people, we can't keep this kind of people in power. The responsibility is a national responsibility. It's a patriotic duty for you to perform. And I'm speaking to all journalists.
Okay, just before nearing Mr. Gongloe, I want you to reflect on a particular statement you made last night in the forum there. You said something, say Liberia is poor by choice. How can you explain that?
You know, Liberia is poor by choice. Okay. The Botswana found diamond. The president was honest. You know, the president said, we are not going to export raw diamond. They enter into contract with DeBerry. DeBerry is the biggest diamond polishing company in the world. And they enter into a contract with DeBerry, and they are now selling raw diamonds from Botswana. They are selling polished diamonds, making a lot of money. Then he said further, the president said further, you know what? We are not going to increase salaries now. We are going to build an infrastructure. We are going to put money into the education program. We are going to put money into a health program. He did all of that. We are going to do, you know, food program. And as a country that has 70% of the country is covered by desert, only 30% got grass and trees and all of that. They are Botswana is among the richest countries in Africa because of the way the resources are used and the way the citizens elect their leaders. Their first president was a man of integrity, Sarisi Kama. He said that standard. And any president that want to be, you go near corruption, so they will move you. And so the president know that. In Liberia, we have diamond, we have gold, we have iron ore, and then many other minerals. Then our soil is so rich. I'm talking about a desert country being a rich country. In Liberia, when you eat plum, when you drop the seed, after 3 weeks, it starts growing by itself. And let me tell you this expression that Liberia is poor by choice is something that I borrowed from my interpreter in Ethiopia. I told you last night in Ethiopia. Yared, one day was sitting eating and he said, Chief Bossman, there's one country in West Africa that is heavy on earth. I said, which country? He said, Liberia. I said, that poor country. Then he reacted by saying, well, your country is poor by choice.
Huh.
He said, because in Ethiopia, here, for anything to grow, you have to put fertilizer in the soil. But he said he was in Greenville working with the Ethiopian Army contingent as an interpreter. And one day he ate plum and dropped the seed. Then after 3 weeks, he was going behind the oil, he saw it growing. Then he yelled, then he said, oh, this is heavy on earth. He said, what kind of country is something you just dropped in and grow by itself? You see, all the pawpaw trees around our villages were not planted. People eat pawpaw to drop this, and they just grow and they're rich. Nobody here in Liberia post fertilizing the soil for rice to grow. So, if we were to elect leaders that would emphasize on our comparative advantage, we have rich soil, so let's grow rice and be rice exporter by investing into machines and other things that will make us grow so much rice and be supplying to Mali, Burkina Faso, all the countries around us that are desert countries that eat rice too. Then, even from rice alone, we could be rich. Then from diamond, we start selling polished diamond. Why should we sell raw gold? We start smelting gold here. Why can't we transform? How can people die during Ebola time? Because our nurses and doctors did not have sanitary gloves that are made out of natural rubber. But we're selling natural rubber abroad and buying sanitary gloves, and which our nurses did not have, doctors did not have, and they die from touching Ebola patients. You see, it is that kind of decision that we make as voters for the kind of leaders that we elect, that I say that we are poor by choice. Because it will make decision on a good leader. Liberia will be counted among the wealthy countries of the world.
Okay, so we get to the veteran also. And last night I got to know around 2005 you served as the representative in District number 10. That's exactly where Yaka Koluba is now serving as the lawmaker. So, from the time of your services in government and up to person, what are those things you have seen in Liberia, and you are deciding to make this other U-turn for Liberia? It's a pleasure to have you in Foya.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure being here as well. I've been to Foya several times, but I think this is my first time appearing on the radio talk show.
Okay.
And so I'm glad to be in your studio. It's a nice studio. I've compared this to any studio I've been to in Monrovia. It's cool. And actually, you don't even need an air conditioner here, given the weather condition in Foya. It's cool. Even at night, didn't had a fan, but didn't have to use a fan at where we had our accommodation. But I'd like to, before answering your question and going any further, I'd just like to add to what Councillor Gongloe said about the country of Botswana. I visited Botswana in 1993. I visited Botswana in 1993, and I saw example of what that country is. That country has the highest per capita income in Africa. When President Clinton visited that country in the time of when he paid his visit to Africa, he said that one thing the United States will have to learn from Botswana is that Botswana were able to balance its budget, and that the United States was still struggling every time to balance the budget, and most time to go into a crisis where they got a government shut down because they can't agree on balancing their budget. As rich as they are, they're in Botswana. Botswana is a dry land, as the councillor said. They don't have, sometimes go for 3 years, no rainfall. 3 years. It is so, water is so dear to them that they call their money, their currency, they call it a pula. Pula means rain, water for them. You pass over bridges that are laid out, you find there's no water, there's a dry bed, because for 3-4 years, no rainfall. So when they have rainfall, but I tell you, we went to the villages and they were running water in the desert land. Yes. So it's a good example because of good governance. That's what they are. Now, before I proceed, let me say that the great revolutionary Frantz Fanon, he said, each generation should discover its mission. They can fulfill it or they can betray it. We, the so-called progressives, as most will call us derisively sometimes, and sometimes they say in adoration to us or so, we do those progressives, we progressives of the, because there are many progressives coming up now, progressives of the 70s and the 80s, we discover our mission and we fulfill it to a large extent, but it is not yet fulfilled for a Liberian mission, which is why we stay around. The mission was to bring about multi-party democracy and free press. And indeed, everybody can attest to the fact that today in Liberia, we have a vibrant democracy, although developing, and we have a vibrant press. I can say our press is as free as anywhere in the world. Happy to be here in Foya with the kind of vibrant thing we had at the your center yesterday, the intellectual center, and the fact that we're here in the studio in Foya. During our days, you never had this kind of opportunity, but it's here, blood and death, to have this day come true. Now, you're saying, well, yes, I work in government. Actually, when in 2005, when I ran for the representative, it was district number 4. At that time, there were 64 constituencies in the country. Today, you know that it's 73 because of it was enlarged, even though it's still arbitrary in terms of we're still in violation of the Constitution as far as the constituencies are concerned. And we seem like we'll still continue to violate the Constitution even with the 2023 election, because we're not going to demarcate the constituency according to, there's not going to be a threshold bill, there's not going to be a threshold law passed, so that on the basis of which you can set up the election commission can then set up the constituencies. So the legislature has to pass that. Now, so I was in district number 4, which is now district number 10, you're correct. That district number 4 actually was split up into 2. You got district number 9, district number 10, coming from the district number 4. Of course, the population is increasing to 9, so you can note that. And Yaka Kolba, of course, is the representative for district number 10, and number 9, which is also from district number 4, is now, I think, for Foko. I think Foko is the representative now.
Where young blood used to.
Yes, and I ran on the Unity Party ticket, although I was not a Unity Party member, partisan. But we had a collaboration. When we talk about collaboration, we've been collaboration for a long time. We've been partisan, practical. Although we were shortchanged in the collaboration with Unity Party, but I ran on Unity Party ticket. I was the only one in district number 14 in Mosrado County. Of the 14 candidates, there were 14 constituencies, 14 districts. I was the only one of the 14 candidates that Unity Party put up for representative in Mosrado County. I was the only one to win my seat. And I won my seat in CDC district, in CDC territory, in the President Salif residential territory as well.
He should be a strong person.
Well,
2005.
it was based on the record. The record we have set for ourselves.
Okay.
The record we have made, the performance we have made. So that we ran on our record. Just like Tiawan Gongloe is running on his record today. And if you see him, since he announced, they were talking about 3 candidates in the race. George Weah, Joe Buckeye, Alexander Cummings. But now we will talk about 4. Talk about Tiawan Gongloe. It's not by accident, but it's based because on the record. And you can see that he went back on the record. So we run on our record. And they say progressives spoil the country. They call this. They can't fix it. But we can't fix the country if we don't have power.
Okay.
We have to have power to do it, and we have put up candidates before. Dr. Tipote, Bowman Formula. We have put up candidates for, and the Liberian people never elected our people. This time again, we're doing it again. We think we have the best chance this time, and we think the Liberian people have seen now the different kind of people they are put into power. They have seen the performance of these people. They are seeing where the country is today. If they want to go back and give power to the same people again, then so be it. We'll be here. But at least Tiawan will not regret, neither will I regret that we sat down and didn't put ourselves forward. We put ourselves forward because we see the need for it, and we think we can change this country. We can transform this country into being a better Liberia that it can be.
Okay, folks, wherever you are, because Councillor, we shut down by 10 in the morning. So wherever you are and you think you want to form part of the discussion, you can just call us on the same number 0777-330-133. Make your input. Councillor Tiawan Gongloe is in the studio where Mr. Welcome. So it's so important and it's so touching. Like I keep telling you, this is about Liberia. We hosted them last night at the Taikor International Forum, right there situated on Foya Cross Street. And a lot of things, went on positively. And we saw the young people. He took photo and he said, people try to frighten him not to come to Lofa, especially Foya. And when you live in Maserado, sometimes the news you get, it will tell you CDC has predominantly overtaken Lofa County. Mm-hmm. But he said, experience is a great teacher. Seeing is believing. Yeah. So, and you came, you saw the other thing around. Mm-hmm. Because the people that were crowded against, around you, people came around and you saw for yourself. So, so folks, if you're there and because we are running out of time, you can call us on the same number. Let's get the first person going and let's hear how this person will want to express himself or herself. How you doing?
Well, I thank God, Mr. Sankar. Faratusa is my name this morning at the district executive.
Faratusa, what's your take?
Yes, I just want to welcome the studio guest this morning for him coming in our district, where especially for you hosting on our community radio Tamba Taikor. I want to say welcome so much to him. Okay. It will not be a first time coming in the district. That's why I have to say this morning.
Okay, so continually, yeah, welcoming you in the district. So, Councillor, I think you can proceed maybe with other things that you really want to say about Liberia. And you said something about corruption last night. I want to bring that also to your attention, where you lectively explain on how, if you take over the presidency, how you will be prosecuting those corrupt officials. What's the example you will set so that other ministers, maybe that will be appointed, we see that if they get into corruption, they will also be treated the same way. So, and the issue of corruption in our country, well, others will say, but the past government also did corruption, so it's not anything. Poor comparison. Mm-hmm. So what is that difference? What is that? I don't want to use the same thing you try to.
Yeah.
I don't want to use the change.
Myself, I don't want to use it. Yes. So what I would do differently. I agree with you. Most often when this government is criticized, they say, but the past government was corrupt and many governments have been corrupt. And I come back and say, so your children in the house say they are hungry. Then you say, I'm not the only father who's not feeding. Look at my neighbor. He's not feeding his children too. The children too, your responsibility, especially when you say, when I get married, I will feed my children. I will take care of my family. Then you get married and you say, but I'm not the only married man who's not feeding his children. Then what happened to the promise you made? They said there will be change for hope. And now there's more hopelessness and despair in this country than hope. No hope, in fact. So, and it is based on corruption, greed, and selfishness, to the extent that our treasury has become like a fishing net. When you put a fishing net in the water, you take it, no water can be inside. So we have to stop that, to close the hole, so that we can have enough money to take care of our police, pay them well, provide all the logistics for them, provide the social services that we need in health, education, building roads, and contributing and strengthening our food production. How am I going to do it? In order to combat corruption, you yourself must not be corrupt. Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. But if you're not a change, you can't change anything. You can't tell your children not to lie. Then the next day somebody will owe you. When you come in the morning, you say, 8 o'clock, come to my house for your $200 I owe. Then you tell your children, anybody come here 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, tell the person I'm not here, I'm going to bang. A person come there and start insulting you. Then your children can't say nothing. Then the next day, Tuesday devotion time, you say, children, to lie is not good. It's against the Bible. Don't lie. The children will look at you and just say, look at the man. He just lied yesterday in front of us. So, I have not been corrupt in government, and therefore I have the moral authority and strength to fight corruption. Here is my plan. I have a 12-count prescription for combating corruption, but I can tell you just a few key ones. First thing, all the people who serve in government, from the president to the chief justice, the speaker, everybody, ministers, their salary will be on the internet, and salary and benefits. The asset declaration will be on the internet, so you know their value, including the president's salary, everything.
Okay, so sorry, let me continue to announce the number while you are talking.
Right.
If we have any caller that
Right.
will attend to them. 0777-330133 is the number to call to be a part of the show this morning. So wherever you are, you can, if you are listening, and I know many of you are listening, so go ahead, Councillor.
Then, while we are there, everybody, before I even nominate you to go to the Center for Confirmation, you present me your asset declaration. I will publish it on the internet, in the newspaper. It will be on the simple English before you go there. So the senator can know how much you are worth to ask you questions, because you will take oath. If you have some of your asset, that would be perjury. That's a crime against our law. So you do that. Then every 3 months we'll do what they call lifestyle audit. Somebody call him?
Okay, yes, let's get this person going. Good morning.
Yes, morning.
I'm okay, your name and where you're calling from?
Yeah, this is Constance joining you from Tamba Taikor community.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks to the video guys. Thank you very much, for showing some of the issues to the high quality, to the hearing of the citizen of Fuya. My question goes to the Honorable.
Yeah.
Having in mind to contest council for the city, what is your impact in this city? When we talk about the environmental oriented in this city, what are some of the work that you been doing in this city or present?
Okay. So what has he done for you, right? Oh. You listen to him.
But I can deal with that question immediately.
Okay.
First, I'm running for the presidency of Liberia to set broad national policies and programs that will transform this country for the better.
Okay.
The question he's asking is actually for the people who are running from Foya district to be representative, or someone from Lofa who is running to be senator. So that, and then let me be fair. Nobody asked President Taylor, President Salif, President George Weah, when they were running, what they have done in the community in terms of infrastructure development. Because when you say what has he done in this, you see, think about Palava Hall or building public toilet or putting hand pump or doing something, or sending or giving scholarship, doing something that will impact the personal lives of the people who live here. No, that is not a requirement for being president. Again, the education level you to do, but I just want to give this public education so that it shouldn't be in anybody's mind that in order to run to be president, you have to do something physical. But let me say to him that I've contributed in a way to Foya district, because one of the permanent sons of Lofa is called Bani Samuka and come from Foya district. I was his teacher at the University of Liberia. So when you teach somebody and you change the person's mind, improve the person's mind, that's a bigger contribution than building. But even building one hand pump, because one hand pump could spoil in 2-3 years. But the knowledge you got from me is what stayed with him, that was qualifying even to run for the Senate. And he won at that time in Lofa. So I made big contribution to all the communities in Liberia as a teacher. I'm even the one who I taught the current police director at the police academy the legal framework for police in a senior officer course. And the police is taking care of all Liberia, all over Liberia. Therefore, I can say I've contributed to the safety of every community in Liberia. That's what I can say to you.
0777330133 is the number to call. Be a part of the show.
We'll have what they call lifestyle audit, quarterly lifestyle audit. Every 3 months, the auditor from GSC will come to the president audit and the office to ask me about my expenditure, and they will ask all the ministers. If any, and then the lifestyle audit report will be published. Lifestyle audit means the way you are living before. You are living in one room. Whether if you're living in a story building, how you got there, and how much you're making. So if the expenditure is above your income, then you have to explain. And the explanation does not make sense. When it comes to the president, I will dismiss you because you serve at the will and pleasure of the president. It is your education and experience that give the president the will to appoint you. It is your conduct in government that pleases the president. So if your conduct does not please the president, you are political appointee, the president can dismiss you. Just by hearing that you're involved in corruption, I will dismiss you and turn you over to the Liberian Anti-Corruption Commission for full investigation. And if you are taken to court and found guilty, the law provides that the balance of the money in the bank, your other assets, vehicles and motor and buildings and other things that you've invested in will be confiscated from you through the law and given back to the state. And I strongly believe that if 5 ministers are in jail for 5 to 10 years, all their properties are taken away from them and their families are suffering, other ministers in government will be afraid to steal. And those outside government who want to come into government to steal will be afraid to come into government. Then in that way, we'll have enough money to build more roads, to maintain roads, to get our children to go to school, and the schools will be well, build more schools, build more clinics, and they'll be on top of the line because there will be resources. More than that, nobody will want to kill him up to take their part again for a big job because no profit will be there again. That's the kind of thing I want to do.
In Councillor Gongloe, there are a lot of Liberians who, I call them the people that can think one way, can say, but when the master and he building the country, yeah. So when they take from the taxpayers and erect those mansions or the skyscrapers or the duplexes and whatever you can think of, and when they building them, they say, but the man building here country. Yeah, even though it is not his money. And some of those government officials, if you read about them, just yesterday, not too long ago, yesterday, some of them were sleeping on mats. And today, I mean, they are the wealthy people in this country. And that's why you see many a time when the issue of corruption, people trying to speak on that, they will think that, but the people against the government, even the past government were corrupt. So what happened? So what's your take on that when you say
I think it's so wrong.
You pay in your country, but it's not their money. It's the people's money.
You know, Foya is a deeply religious area. Both the Pentecostal church, the Free Pentecostal church is based here, and then you have the Muslims here, and other Christian groups. There is one commandment in the Old Testament, the 10 Commandments. Both Muslims and Christians subscribe to the 10 Commandments. Commandment number 8 says, commandment number 7 says, thou shalt not steal. You know, so thou shalt not steal has no exception. There's no exception in the Bible or in the Quran. that they get good stealing and bad stealing. It is not what you do with the money. It's how you get the money that is important. We cannot be teaching our children to be rogues. It's just wrong. They are totally wrong. Whether you steal the money and build houses for everybody in your town, you are still a rogue. The thing will get dry. When you don't use your hair, your body suffer. All these kinds of things. And so when a man build 5-story building in your town, that he's sleeping, and that's just greed, because only one room you're sleeping. In that room, your bed is on one corner, and that one small portion of the bed you're sleeping. So that's just greed. And they deny people of the money that all Liberians are supposed to enjoy for good health program, for good educational program, for increased agricultural activity, for good roads. They take all that money and few people spend it. Look at the president today, he paid for the 7-story building. And I'm going to be president with my little brother from here, Thomas Fala, who is trying to come arise from here. How can one man own university? He does not have money machine at your house. The way they can spend money, they get some kind of machine at the house to produce money. You got the people who presently own university in Liberia today are all from the legislature. I don't know whether the American, the magic they're making, where they getting the money from? Lawmakers got universities. They don't even go to the lawmaking, got time to pay school fee because they're so greedy they can come sit down to collect the school fee themselves. That's why I hear. Where they getting the money from? It is wrong. The money that's supposed to come to all of us, and who is he? He was on Ways and Means Committee. Check all the lawmakers who have been chairman and co-chairman of Ways and Means Committee. They are rich. I know they are money magicians, but they can just say, let there be money, then money come. No, it's wrong. They are not good role models for our country. That's why they come in election. We should sweep all of them from power with our votes. I say Liberians are poor by choice because they elect corrupt people who deny them of the money that should make Liberia rich. Few people put in their pocket. Some people can go buy horses in Ghana. Now only are the same people here, they go for medical treatment to Ghana. Instead of fixing our medical system, they go for medical treatment to Ghana, they go to India. Now, many of them are going to Sierra Leone even for weekends. They say, yeah, free time, enjoy. Oh, the enjoyment in free time. They are so shameless. Can they improve our country? Me, I want to be a president who will create millionaires outside government, not inside government like it's happening today. And the millionaires I will create outside government are Liberian business people so that government can purchase goods and services from Liberian business people to become our millionaires and increase employment. If there's construction contract, I would say only Liberian construction companies will bid for this contract. When a Liberian construction company wins it, he will employ Liberia. The money he will make, he will invest it here in Liberia. Then more people want to compete in the private sector. I don't want people competing to occupy government offices. That the reason why they engage in ritualistic killing and killing people. Nobody can kill for ritualistic killing for contracts. Liberia government is the only entity that can make people rich in every country in the world. So when you purchase services from your own people, when you purchase goods from your own people who are business people, you make them rich.
So we'll call you. I think you can just take your departing comments because we have like 9 minutes to go. Okay. So you can take your departing remarks, then the end will be cancelled.
Well, I again like to say thanks to the people of Foya for the hospitality shown us, the warm reception we got, and ask them to ensure that when the voters registration comes around, they should be good to vote, because if you don't register to vote, you will not be able to vote, and therefore you'll not be able to vote Councillor Gongloe in to implement the kind of programs that you talk about that would transform this country from where it is to a better Liberia that we know is possible with the kind of program we bring forward.
Thank you so much. You just made mention, about ritualistic killing. On the 23rd of this month in Bonny County, there's a news there of a 2-year-old boy who was allegedly, brutalized and parts were extracted. One Momo Sa, or Momo, something like that.
That sounds like a kissing name.
So, and there are individuals that have been apprehended. In the process, I saw the photo. You see the intestines, everything. They took it out. They plucked the eye. I mean, so nasty. You see that photo. So I mean, this is the country we find ourselves.
Election is coming.
And I mean, can you job?
But that's the thing I'm talking about. You remember on our talk, but 7 persons were executed, were hanged in Maryland County. Why were they hanged? They killed a young man because they wanted his blood and parts to maintain a job. One of the persons who was executed was a representative. The other one was a sitting senator. The other one was sitting mayor. The other one was supervisor of schools. And many other people. These people wanted to maintain a job. Instead of maintaining a job by their performance, some witch doctor told them, if you kill a young man and the parts, some people strongly believe that the way to go is not to perform, but to rely on human parts through ritualistic, through witch doctors. So election coming, someone to become elected representative or senator, someone to maintain their position. So the witch doctors are the one now that are telling them the only way you can do this is to do this, to do that. I will tell you, as I'm sitting, some people have come to me, both from Christian churches and from mosques, who have come, they have vision. I just laugh. You need to do this, to do that, and your name is good, but that librarian here, you got to do this. I just laugh. Praying mothers and praying whatever will come to me, I have vision for you. But you need to do fast, and you have to support the fast for to do this, to do this. I said, no, myself, I can pray to God. So, when you are looking for, because that's their own way of surviving. And people who say you should support them to do fast, that's their way. We need to get this, get that. Then some people can say, I'm a Mole man, you need to kill sheep, we need to, something with blood. I said, no, I will pray to God. Myself, I believe in God, and I'll pray to God for God to guide and direct me and protect me in the process. That's my prayer to God. Just like before I came here this morning, I pray to God to guide and direct me about what I will say on the radio, because whatever I say as an influential person will impact the lives of people. I cannot say anything that will bring disunity, that will honor my peace as a public leader. So that's why I'm speaking the way I'm speaking is out of God. So it is, we should be electing people based on a track record. Like Brian Pusher, that's what I said to the tie shop last night. Everybody was there. When people come to run this time, I ask them, are you for the broom or not for the broom? If you want to maintain corruption, then we don't want to listen to you. Somebody who had never supported any group of students before, July will come and say, I'm prepared to pay for 50 students scholarship. All of that. They are political investors. They are election time humanitarians. 5 years ago, they have not been humanitarian.
No.
Because they are careful. They don't want to be spending money far away from election. They spend it 3 months to election. July will be exactly 3 months to election. So they will not spend too much. They want to minimize cost and maximize profit. Then they get there and be stealing. And they wind up the glass. How many presidential candidates have you seen come in at night? I feel secure, because when you are good to the people protect you. This morning, 5:45, I walked through the whole town with only one person with me. I walked to the end of the pavement, the other side. I walked to the end of the pavement, the other side, so I know the town. Nobody troubled me. So okay. I strongly believe that when you are concerned by the people, they will protect you. That's why I walk. Oh, I'm not only presidential candidate who walk the street. I can call myself a street candidate. Yeah, that's how I know that one young man on Runner Street at Yanabo died the other time. I went there and sympathized with them. I asked, I said, what my man? They said, oh, he passed last week. If I were not walking the street, I would not know. Okay. That's why I have silent support that if the election were to be held tomorrow, people will be surprised because, hey, I'm dealing with the people every day. Power belongs to them. And when you want to get it from them, you can't be sitting in the air-conditioned car and only sending MSRs. I've been to over 220,000 libraries. Everywhere I go, they say you are the first presidential candidate who come to our town. They can only send people here with bags of rice or election time. They can only send people here with money. They can only come to the big towns. So I want to thank the people for that because I'm closing. They are very hospitable. I must say on the air again, I was scared. They said, oh, you're going to the former vice president, JMB, whom? That place is a no-go area. They said, oh, Thomas Fala and Jefferson Koji, all the people, the brigade there, you be careful there. Even my wife was scared. She was Lofa, but she said, hey, I can understand you going to Cllr and so and punch him up. But do you have to go to Foya? I would say I will go. They just pray. I came here and Foya people have shown so much hospitality. I feel like I'm in Glazer, where I came from.
Okay.
It's very nice. So I want to thank the people of Foya and let them keep it that way.
Thank you.